What's going on, everyone? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at Star Wars The Black Series. This is Tython Boba Fett. This is the Boba Fett from the Mandalorian show. I guess you could kind of pretty much consider this kind of little bit of Book of Boba Fett, little bit Mandalorian Season 2. But really, it's the card says Tython Mandalorian. So technically, it is from the Mandalorian show when he is wearing his Tusken Raider garb. And it looks pretty cool. It's a pretty cool figure. Came out. This wave has been kind of weird as far as like releases go, and as far as like showing up at stores. Like it randomly shows up at stores, and then is still set up for pre-order like May or June, maybe even into July. So who knows with what's going on with Hasbro? I don't know what's going on with Hasbro. I don't think anybody does. I don't think Hasbro knows what's going on with Hasbro. But anyway, regardless of all of that, we've got his gaffy stick here. And this is actually really cool because this is the gaffy stick that he does make in a Book of Boba Fett, which is unique per Boba Fett, seeing as he sculpts into the tree limb that he snapped off of that tree after being high on peyote, which is just what I'm going to call it. But it's pretty cool. I like the way the staff looks. Looks really nice. It does have a unique design next to, I want to say, one of the regular Tusken Raiders, which I'll get to a little comparison in a little bit. But just kind of wanted to show it off really quick, just the sculpting. I like this little string here so you can attach it to his back. You can have everything attached to his back if you just want to have him straight up no matting with both things on his back. But I like that they actually used a soft string and not some rubbery, annoying plastic piece that's going to sit awkwardly. Kind of wish they would have done that for this strap, but this strap isn't nearly as bad as some other plastic, rubbery type straps. But I like the gold for the I guess the other end of the gaffy stick. This would be the wooden end, and this would be the metal end, a spear end, I should say. But it looks really nice nonetheless. So let's set that aside, and then next up we'll get to his it's kind of like a customized cycler rifle. It's not your typical cycler rifle because it's a little bit on the shorter side. So that's cool. That it's kind of unique for Boba Fett. It's a shame that in the Book of Boba Fett he doesn't use the cycler rifle. He just kind of goes back to his EE3, which is fine. That's kind of his carbine rifle. But I like the cycler rifle. I've always liked long distance rifles. So this is really cool. I like the gold paint that we've got going on here. It almost looks musket-esque. The way that this is set up, and I actually really like that. It's got the sight right here for long range distances, and then over here we've got the trigger guard right there. We've got some gold kind of sculpting going on throughout, and then the little gold kind of rivets going throughout the barrel, kind of keeping the barrel nice and attached and secure. So that looks really good, and they even have some gold under here for the butt of the rifle right there. So that's really nice. They did a really good job, I want to say, as far as paint detail for both accessories so far. Taking a look at the last accessory, which is the handgun, the sidearm, excuse me. This is not Boba Fett's usual sidearm right here. This is a little bit different. I'm not sure the name of this sidearm. I'm sure somebody will let me know in the comments. I just didn't get a chance to look up Wikipedia before I started this review, but it looks really nice. I like the brown for the handle right there, or for the, the grip. And it's very unique. So I do quite like this quite a bit. It's nice that we're getting something a little bit different for Boba Fett. We're not just getting the same old kind of Boba Fett stuff like they did for the, I don't know, it kind of bugged me a little bit that they keep releasing the prototype Boba Fett with the improper weapons, and no one points this out ever. But I mean, I guess I'm going to. I actually had to purchase custom 3D printed weapons that are actually supposed to go with the prototype Boba Fett, because that one just comes with the improper weapons, the ones from Empire Strikes Back. So, and they were not the same. You can actually look them up. And also the animated version should come with the Mandalorian's rifle, the kind of tuning fork rifle. It should come with that technically. But anyway, I digress. Under the robe here, which is also kind of inaccurate because he didn't wear a brown robe, he wore a black robe. But I don't know, I guess for the sake of this review, we'll just keep this robe. Probably going to get a black one for him. I actually already have one here for him, which I've been using for a Darth Maul, which he doesn't need it anymore, so I'm going to give it to him, and it'll look much better than this one. Especially on top of that, because when you put the hood on here, it just, oh, God, it's like, what even the hell were they thinking with this hood? They knew it was so bad that they actually had to fold it over like this, because this is exactly how he came in package. The hood is just like this in package. And that's pretty much how it's been staying. And then as soon as you put the hood up, it's like, what the actual hell were you thinking, Hasbro, doing this? But I don't know. For the most part, it's got a little bit of frayedness on the bottom and even up top. So I mean, that's welcomed, but still, you know. What were you guys doing with this hood? It's like they just can't figure out how to do proper hoods. I think it's mostly because the seam is right here, and it makes the seam is so strong and bulky that it kind of throws the rest of the hood off. But good grief, man. Jeez. I don't know. I mean, if I can get this from a customizer, and it lays so much better. This custom hood right here, this cloak, it sits a lot better than this. Good grief. Good gracious. I mean, Hasbro, I would think, would do a better job than this. But, nope. You thought wrong, sir. Let's get this robe off really quick, and then we'll get to his underneath here. There we go. And the underneath has a really nice sculpt for the most part. And I want to say, actually, quite a bit of his design here was retained for some of his design for Book of Boba Fett. You can see some of the kind of popped out pad, or I shouldn't say pads, but the shoulder coverings right here, kind of transition or translates to some of that. The other Boba Fett, the cycler rifle rounds right here. I actually like that design. I like this kind of like nomadic looking Boba Fett. I think this would have been a little bit more interesting if they would have continued with this design. I know a lot of people like him in the armor too, but I feel like for some certain scenarios you might want to have him in his nomadic look. I feel like adopting that whole, culture would have made him progress and change a little bit from having just relying on the armor all the time. But I digress. Here is the face sculpt. Face sculpt looks very Tamura Morrison-esque. I kind of have an issue with this because it's a little bit weird in certain areas. Like it kind of looks like it's not just shiny, but there's like white going on over here. Now, personally, I remember not only seeing him in The Mandalorian, but also Book of Boba Fett. He's kind of like a little bit more pale with more scarring going on at this stage. Now, he does have some scarring. This is kind of pre-back to tank, which that's what I'm using that as, a back to tank in the background. But I don't know. I feel like the face sculpt's a little bit too tan for him. He should be a little bit paler. But it's not the end of the world. I still think the eyes are decently painted. They look pretty solid. And he's just a little bit too shiny. Now, you can get this kind of sealer spray. It's kind of like a finisher. And you can spray it over, and it'll take all the shininess off the plastic with the face scan, and it'll actually fix the face scan, so he's not so shiny and kind of looks greasy, like he hasn't washed himself in a while. But I don't know, maybe some people want to keep that aesthetic for maybe because he's been roaming in the desert. But the face sculpt is, it's a solid face sculpt. It's not the best face sculpt I've ever seen out of a Black Series figure, but it's pretty decent. As far as his articulation does go, his arms can, well, actually, let's start at the head, like normal. The head can swivel side to side. It can look, let's see if he can look up here. Let's see if he might just be on a ball peg. Let me just pop this head off really quick. Yeah, he's just on a ball peg. So that's about it as far as looking up. Looking down, since he's on a 2-joint neck, he can look down. Let's see if he's got some jive turkeys. Oh yeah, we got some gobbles up in here. So there's that. He can tilt side to side like that. His arms can go up about that far. That's maxed out right there. Goes down, full 360 rotation in the arm if you need it to. A single jointed elbow, which is more than 90 degrees. So that's about 90 degrees right there. And then that's more than 90 degrees. So that's really good right there. Let's see if he's got some butterfly joints. He does have a butterfly joint, which is really nice. Thank God for butterfly joints with the Black Series, man. It just really does go a long way. I'm telling you, man. But we have a swivel in the wrist. We have a hinge joint, which goes back and forth in the wrist. And like I said, that swivels there. He does have a diaphragm joint, which can kind of wibble wobble all over the place. It can swivel as well. It's a little bit hindered due to the strap right here, and that is a continued piece, a plastic piece right there. But he can still turn, and it actually kind of looks natural as to how this strap would go, because it wouldn't move with the body. It would move on its own, kind of like it's its own separate piece, which makes sense. I'm glad it wasn't like attached to the shoulder or something like that. So good on Hasbro for doing that. Crunches forward and back like so. He can do the splits. Really well done. Take note, Spider-Man. Legs go forward, legs go back, upper thigh swivel. It does have a single jointed knee, and it's a very odd joint. It's because it's so cut into the pants, which I'm not gonna lie. I mean, a part of me wishes that these weren't plastic, but I get it. It's whatever. They could have used soft goods here and went with a naked underbody, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. And how would they stay tucked in the boot? That'd be the other thing. So I guess I don't mind this too much. But single jointed knee there, and it gets a little bit more than 90 degrees. It does have a swivel in the knee there too. It's just, let's see how weird he looks taking a knee, if it looks awkward or anything like that. And for the most part, I want to say, no, it doesn't look too bad. It looks a little bit weird when you look at it from this angle. But if you have him from this angle, I don't think it looks that bad taking a knee. So that's just something to point out. And you can also swivel this back, or you could swivel this more while you're, if you want to go this route. If you want to go on that side, you can swivel the thigh swivel more. But that's pretty good range of motion as far as majority of the knee goes. He does have a boot swivel, which is really nice. He can pointy-toey, point the heel a little bit, and he's got ankle pivot, and he's got 2 peg holes in the front of his feet. So pretty unique as far as definitely sculpt, I want to say design goes. I love this nomadic look. When I first saw it, I was like, oh man, that's a really cool kind of different look for him. It almost reminds me of the Mythos version of Boba Fett. If you're confused by the Mythos version of Boba Fett, there's actually a Sideshow Collectibles 1/12 or 1/6 scale, figure. Where just give off some of those vibes. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my old eBay cloak off of Darth Maul here, and I'm going to put this cloak on him and just see how it works and see how it goes and see how it ends up right there. I think that looks pretty good. And you can get these off of, I don't know if they're still selling these on eBay or what the seller's name was, so I apologize, but I think that looks pretty damn good with the black as opposed to this kind of, I don't know what's going on with that hood. Oof, that is a goo. But let's see if we can pop these accessories on him too. as we should want to. Also, the hood, even though it's a little bit large even on him, it just drape a lot better on him than the other hood does, which you kind of had to fold back, which was just a little awkward, man. Let me tell you. But I think this looks really good, man. I'm really pleased with how this came out. And overall, quite impressed of this figure. This was a figure I was really actually looking forward to picking up. And I really just dug this kind of just, I don't know, nomadic look for Boba Fett. It's just such a cool, different look and design. And I love that the Tusken Raiders are part of his lore and kind of his backstory too. I really dig that. So that's really cool. Let me get his sidearm back in here. And then, oh, actually, you know what? Before I get the sidearm back in there, let's see if he can hold everything. He looks pretty good as far as that goes right there. I like this quite a bit, man. This is even growing on me more and more the more I look at it. Maybe I kind of wish that the eyes were a little bit less, or a little bit more settled. They look a little bit kind of shocked a little bit. But I think this is turning out to be a really nice figure. Let's get him in a rifling pose too. Okay, so he's definitely not the most fun to try and get him to look down the sights. It's just the way the hands are, the hands are set up and the way that the rifle is set up. The rifle doesn't really have a grip to hold on to for him to get into this kind of like pose where he's holding it like this. The hinge joint on the wrist, as far as the pistol hinge joint, which goes up and down, on this side isn't deep enough, so and it's almost like the peg has to come out a hair to get him to go a little bit deeper for him to get into that rifling pose. You could probably use photo manipulation to get him into those poses, but he does hold it nicely as far as looking at from just maybe I just shot someone pose, you know, like that. So that's an unfortunate thing. He can't really like look down the sights of his rifle, but whenever rifles like this are kind of sculpted a certain way, when they're any kind of rifle like this, it's much harder to get them to look down the sights. It's already hard enough as it is with a handle to get them to look down the sights, but it's even harder with a rifle like this. But he can pose it. If you, like I said, if you use photo manipulation, you can get him to look down the sights. What I do kind of wish is, I wish this head had a hinge on it, because it is just a ball peg. And let me just pop this head off to double check. Yeah, it's definitely a ball peg on there. So I kind of do wish that he had a hinge joint in there, just so we can get him to lay down and take some shots, and you can get that extra range of motion in the head going back. But I guess it's not too bad. You could probably sneak something in as far as that's concerned. Maybe looking over a ledge or something like that, or down a hill. But I like the storage ability of the figure. You can store everything on him so he can utilize all of his weapons. I don't have an issue, so that's big points from me to Hasbro as far as getting everything stored on the character. That's a huge pet peeve I have with most action figure toy lines, is that when a figure comes out and they have like 10,000 accessories or a bunch of accessories and you can't fit them on anywhere, and you have to put them in a little baggie and then write the baggie, and this way he's holding everything. I don't need to do anything. I don't have to put anything in storage, anything like that. He comes with what exactly he's supposed to. Cycler rifle, gaffy stick, sidearm, and that's it. That's all you need with him, and it's perfect. And really quick, just kind of taking a look at some of the detail on him. I'm going to kind of just take this, just kind of spread that back. The line work for his shirt looks really good. I want to say this collared piece looks very nice and kind of worn. Everything's kind of like one color. It doesn't have too much paint shading going on, but I don't think it's necessary to have too much paint shading going on here, because you're probably going to have him with the cloak on, even if you have the other cloak on the whole time. But there is a little bit of paint apps for the boots and kind of the stirrups, actually, I should say here, for the boot covers or whatever you want to call them. He almost has like a rubber ducky boots, but I think it looks pretty cool. So that's pretty nice as far as that's concerned. I love the cycler rifle belt piece right here, and then the strap that's nice and plastic, so that'll be durable over time. The holster for his gun is very sleek, nice. It almost looks like it's made of leather. It's got that leathering texture to it, excuse me. And then on the back, we've got a buckle and a little bit of paint differentiation right there for the back of the belt as well. So pretty nice design. Like I said, it looks pretty good, and I just kind of want to point out some of those details there. Okay, first up for size comparisons, we've got a Jurassic Park Amber Collection Samuel Jackson figure on the left, and then on the right we've got an Articulated Icons Ninja. Okay, next up we've got a Marvel Legend on the right, and Sentry. He is on the Hyperion body mold. Then on the left we've got a G.I. Joe Classified figure in Duke. Okay, next up we've got some tall guys here. We've got a Motu Classics on the right, that is Vicor. And then on the left we've got a DC Multiverse action figure. This is the Three Jokers Batman. And next up we've got on the right, we've got a Motu Revelations Man-at-Arms action figure. And then on the left we've got a Vapor action figure from Mezco. Okay, and last up we've got a Hasbro Lightning Collection Ecliptor action figure from the Ecliptor 2-pack. On the right we've got the Black Series Luke from Heir to the Throne from the comic line, and that's pretty much how they stack up with it. Okay, and last up we've got a couple Boba Fett armorers right here. We've got Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi on the left, and then on the right we've got Cobb Vanth. And I just wanted to kind of give a little comparison, kind of showing how much taller Cobb Vanth is than actual Boba Fett, and kind of giving a comparison with Boba Fett out of the armor and within the armor. So I think this actually works pretty well as far as scaling with his helmet on, and they did a pretty good job, I want to say, as far as giving you a little bit of an older Boba Fett and a little bit of a younger Boba Fett, not too much younger. Still wondering how long he was in that damn Sarlacc pit for, but this is one of my favorite Black Series figures right here, the Return of the Jedi look for Boba Fett. I think that's my favorite look for Boba Fett, period. And then Cobb Vanth over here is actually growing on me quite a bit. He's a really cool character, I think, that could have a decent story, and quite like the figure. All right, so for my final thoughts on Boba Fett from The Mandalorian Season 2, Tython, I should say, Boba Fett from the Black Series, is, you know what, I would definitely give this a 2 thumbs up. I think this is a good, recommendable figure. It's definitely a look of Boba Fett that we've never got before in action figure form, and I definitely like all the paint detail on him. He's kind of minimal as far as paint detail does go, but where it is well done. I even like the little kind of like maroon fingertips that he's got on his gloves. It looks really good. It kind of stands out. The face, I feel like the shininess of the face is there. It's something that can be fixed, but still, I wish it was a little bit better. I wish he was a little bit more pale than he is. He's a little bit, he kind of went to the tanning bed a little bit, but I love the details on the cycler rifle. I love the gold paint for the gaffy stick. I love the sidearm. I love that everything is that you can store on the actual figure. He can carry everything. He holds the gaffy stick well. He, for the most part, holds the rifle pretty decently. I wish he could look down the sights, but like I said, if you use photo manipulation and kind of just prop it up next to him and maybe just tuck that hand close, you could probably get away with it with some photos and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think he looks great like this. Another area for improvement would have definitely been a black robe. having a brown robe is inaccurate to kind of the character. I don't necessarily remember him ever having a brown robe. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I prefer the black. And like I said, you could probably find this on eBay if you wanted to. Like I said, don't know the sellers, so don't ask. But this is also an older robe that I've had for quite a bit. And now I finally found a good purpose for it, other than just giving it to another Darth Maul that I have. But yeah, this is definitely an area for improvement. They need to kind of figure out the method to their madness with these robes, because either sometimes they're decent and then other times they're really bad. But other than that, I really like the figure. Like I said, I still gave it 2 thumbs up and would fully recommend it. He's got good range of motion. He's got good articulation. I love the details on him. Everything that he comes with makes sense. I even like the little string that they used for the gaffy stick. And I actually don't mind the plastic strap for his cycler rifle. So with that being said, that's pretty much it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.